Behringer has released its LM drum machine. This is the drum machine that is based off the original drum machines designed by Roger Lynn, the LM drum. This is the whole Prince drum machine style. Michael Jackson used it. Everybody in the 80s used it. And of course, with any new piece of gear, I'm curious about it. I'm curious about what it has to offer. I'm curious about what it does, how it sounds, and it looks fun. And it's also a sampler as well. And I was doing some research about it, and I learned that Roger Lynn had some mixed views about this. Now, Roger Lynn, I did meet him one time at Georgia Tech, and he appeared to be in great health, continues to be in great health and sound mind. And it seems like to me like he didn't really understand the purpose of it. It was mixed. It wasn't like you couldn't really get a positive reaction from what I read, and wasn't really a negative reaction. And in the article that I read on his website, he talks about people don't want to pay a full price for a clone, and I agree with that. I mean, if you think about it now, if you want the experience of working with a Lynn drum machine, one, people hold on to it with their life because they know how much it costs and know the value of it. Two, it's hard to justify really for any up-and-coming producer or producer who's got some income or whatever to justify the cost of a used one, which is north of $4,000 right now. So to have an option that enables you to sort of get this experience without that initial cost is pretty cool. And I think also, that Roger Lynn questions the ethnicity. That's not the right word, but the word is, he questions that if it's ethical, right? If it's ethical, it's this wrong thing. But we already know that Behringer's MO over the past few years has been taking old equipment that manufacturers don't make anymore and reissuing it and getting it to the people. And if my memory serves me correctly, there are a lot of independent developers that was doing this, but lack of resources, lack of funds, and of course they have to charge more because they can't order parts in bulk like how Behringer's company can. There's still a world where people want to experience this. So why would we do this? Why would we have a LM drum now in the year of 2025? And the short answer for me is it's fun. A lot of things that are fun don't make sense to people. If I think about the music that the younger generation likes today, if I didn't put my old hat on, I wouldn't understand it. It wouldn't make sense to me. But at the same time, what I remember coming up was a lot of times the music that I was into that made me confusing to the older generation was that it was fun. And this is fun. Nostalgia sells. Nostalgia is a thing. And it brings me to another point of view. Like, nobody really questions remaking a guitar, right? Let's think about this. Now, a guitar is an instrument that's been around for a very long time and has been reinvented, redone. Tons of companies made the guitar. There's no, real copyright of a guitar. And so there's no questions about, hey, if you want a new guitar or old guitar, get a used guitar. It's a tool. It's an instrument. And so is this. This is a tool. This is an instrument. We got to, I just think about drums and, it just seems like when we get to drum machines and stuff like that, we just get extra. And I'm guilty of that too once upon a time. And I grew out of it. I grew out of it. Now I'm more in the avenue of let's experiment. Let's see what's fun. Let's try this. No, if you haven't tried this for a while, try that. You haven't tried that for a while, try this. Always want to remain flexible in my mindset when it comes to this gear. And again, Behringer is making stuff that people want for an affordable price. Behringer's like made a 808 drum machine. Let's talk about Roland right there. Just a little bit. Roland dropped the 808 and 909, but they released it in a fully digital format, which isn't a bad thing, but they released it in the boutique format, which tells me that Roland wanted to give people what they wanted to, but they wanted to save money. It is a quality product, but what I didn't like was the form factor. I didn't like turning the tiny itty bitty knobs. I didn't like that. Sounded good. I had fun programming with it. But I just didn't like messing with the tiny knobs of it. It's just, and I can understand, but then Behringer comes around and drops their 808, which I scooped up on the aftermarket for a good price. And it sounded great and it was fun and it was the full size. And for a second, I can experience having a somewhat of a full size 808 drum machine at home without the real TR-808 price tag. And that was fun. I had fun with that. I sampled that. I did songs with that. It was fun. I want to probably bring it out again and just play with it some more and just sort of tool around with it and see what I can do. And I can't say like the sequencer on that has been the best, and probably it's not going to be the best on this LM drum. But I think it's just fun because limitations breed creativity. When you can't do everything that you could do on an MPC, it makes you think, how do I do that? And let's not forget, like, the MPC itself was an instrument that enabled people to create music in a way that I don't think Roger Lynn and Akai intended in the first place, because it was just sampling one shots. But then when you're sampling whole songs and you're chopping that, and it created a whole new thing. So I think it's a good idea to keep an open mind about it. Ethically, I think it falls into a gray area because, he cites more of the copyright or the, hey, this is my design. I did this. This is my design. And yeah, it probably is. But I remember that I think Dave Smith collaborated with Roger Lynn and created the Tempest drum machine. And I wanted that thing so bad, but it was very expensive for me at the time when that first came out. So I didn't really have good money management skills. And I had computers. So for me, it wasn't like, oh, I got to get it. But then when we think about that product, and it was cool, but that's where the train stopped. And I think that when Roger talks about that he's more excited about the future, I'm like, that's good, but then participate more in it. Well, we got Lindrum, instrument. That's cool. That's cool. I just think that maybe there should be more done in addition to that. If the future is so exciting, the past is so much fun. I see what these old funk songs and what these old 80s and 90s songs do to people today, and what they will do for people in the future. Same thing with today's music that borrows. Like, even today, if you look at a Mustard track, take samples from a drum machine that came out, in the 80s? Old becomes new over and over again when it comes to music. And I think it's best to have a balanced perspective for it. I'm definitely curious about it. I probably will end up getting my hands on one eventually. Not quite yet because I got to finish music. But I think that it's cool. I'm curious about it. I think Roger Lynn is definitely entitled to his opinion. And I don't really fully disagree, but I don't really fully agree, just like how he doesn't fully disagree with the LM drum, and fully, he doesn't fully support it. I think it's cool. I want to have fun with it. I think it'd be cool to kind of put on the Doves Cry beat and pretend that you're Prince. Like, imagine like that, like guitarists who play guitars and imitate their favorite guitarist. They are basically pretending they are them, and nobody bats an eye. So I think we should keep that same energy. If I want to pretend I'm Michael Jackson's producer in the studio, or I want to pretend I'm Prince making a beat, and I have this platform to help me with that pretending because it's fun, because it's empowering and inspires me to go from there, and then take that material and then go ahead and do something new with it, with the raw materials of that, I think that's totally fun. I think that's totally fine. So I'm very curious about it. I think it's cool. Of course, I got the drum sounds already. A lot of these platforms come with the sounds already. But just to it's almost like a war reenactment. You ever been to one of those? And this is my closing. In a war reenactment, in a Civil War reenactment, we got people who dress as the North. We got people that dress as the South. There's actual cannons going off. People dress up and they recreate what would have looked like in that war. And it's something to see, and it helps you appreciate the history more. What if this was a tool that helped you appreciate the history more? Well, yes, the war, we know how the war turned out. We know what happened with the war. But somebody had fun putting on the regalia, going out there in the fields, and pretending they were on either side. That can kind of go into a little bit of ethical argument there. I'm not going to go that far into it. But I think it's fun. It's fun. Have fun. Like, let's have fun. Let's have fun. It's not that expensive. People want that sound, and I'm all for it. So, looking forward to getting my hands on one day. Not immediately. Let me know what you think. Do you think this is cool? Do you think it's a waste of gear and time? Do you think it's just some vaporware, as they say? Let me know in the comments below. You're watching Dealio. Subscribe to Dealio T2K YouTube channel and visit my website, DealioT2K.com. And if you're interested in buying some gears online, please consider my affiliate links in the description below. It will definitely help me out with no additional cost to you. I'm Dealio. You're watching Dealio T2K. I'll see you on the next video.